Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses for being here today. I'm pleased that the subcommittee is turning its attention to the use of artificial intelligence in financial markets. Like stablecoins and market structure, this is a technology that will have a significant impact on how American companies and consumers engage with our evolving financial systems. In order for the United States to remain a global leader in innovation, we must establish clear rules of the road that allow the free market to thrive, and we must do so thoughtfully and effectively. As I continue to meet with industry leaders, I'm increasingly concerned about the growing number of conflicting state laws related to AI. These laws often vary in scope, definition, and enforcement, creating a complex regulatory environment for businesses that operate across multiple jurisdictions. This patchwork of regulation makes it more difficult for companies to scale, innovate, and remain compliant, while also increasing the risk of inconsistent protections and outcomes for consumers. Without a unified approach, we risk slowing progress and creating barriers that disadvantage both American businesses and the people they serve. Mr. Gorfine, states have introduced more than 1,000 laws related to the use of artificial intelligence. From your perspective, what are the most pressing risks of a state-by-state regulatory patchwork for both consumers and innovators?
So it's a good question, and I want to start by being very clear that when I look at this issue, I'm talking about it within the context of the regulated financial services sector. There may be issues outside of financial services where states are engaging on AI, but I think that what's really important is to recognize there are existing federal, state laws, there's existing regulation, and there's existing guidance that financial institutions adhere to, where a patchwork of state laws can absolutely interfere, conflict, or create ambiguity for financial services firms operating on a national level. I think that's especially clear in the data context. We have existing GLBA data privacy laws in place for financial services firms. If you start introducing patchwork of state approaches, that can be really problematic. The same goes for, when it comes to risk management, there is a very careful risk management framework in place for financial services. And again, I do worry about interference of state laws there. So that's how I'm thinking about the interplay of state federal, especially in the context of the financial services space.
I'm going to turn that a little bit around and say, while this is going to be difficult for financial services companies to comply and to work across state lines, let's talk about the AI companies that are trying to create these products. I mean, the Chinese are ahead of us or close to being ahead of us, and the businesses that they have that are focused on this do not have this burden. Would you say that that's an equally difficult challenge?
Yeah, I mean, the broader question for AI is that I do think having a proper federal framework that allows us to operate on a national scale makes really good policy, market, and competitiveness sense. So that is something that I would absolutely encourage, because as we're describing, it's not even just a national competition, it's global, right? So these activities transcend borders, and having a coherent kind of federal framework there makes good sense in the AI context.
Thank you for that. While there are many challenges involved in legislating and establishing clear rules of the road for artificial intelligence, there are also powerful opportunities. Artificial intelligence has the potential to equip financial institutions with advanced tools to better serve their clients, improve efficiency, and reduce risk. As I mentioned earlier, one of the most common concerns I hear from both large financial institutions and smaller community banks and credit unions is the burden that regulatory compliance places on their operations. These requirements strain both their financial resources and staffing capacity. Artificial intelligence offers a promising solution to help automate and streamline compliance processes, allowing firms to redirect time and resources toward innovation and customer service. Dr. Lau, given the significant burden that regulatory compliance places on financial institutions of all sizes, how is artificial intelligence helping firms streamline these processes and manage risk more effectively?
Thank you for the question. Definitely we see applying AI to compliance workflows is one of the highest ROI activities that we're seeing banks implement today, including smaller community banks and regional banks, right? And the reason is not just are they able to automate more workflows where you have low staffing, but also they open up new opportunities for greater compliance. Think about continuous monitoring, 24-hour audits, et cetera, right? But on the flip side, you also need to be able to look at, as you're introducing AI to these regulated workflows, what type of guardrails or controls are put around those AI so that they are able to follow the right policies and procedures when executing those workflows. That actually, in many cases, is the more challenging problem, is how do you rein in this autonomous AI to actually carry out the task effectively and in compliance.
Thank you for that. Emerging technology has the ability to make sure that the U.S. is the center of the global economy for decades to come, and we got to get this right. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
The gentleman